there's an understanding that whenever you come into a class at a certain time,
After Shemesh.
there's an idea that when you come into a class, you came in for the time at the place you needed to come in. So you're here, and we're not going to be able to start from the beginning again. We're at chapter 3. Thank you. Hamas. Okay, so we're learning chapter 3, and basically the Messilat Yesharim is a book of personal development, Tikkun Midot, what we call it, Sefer Musar, a book of how to become a better person, how to... So we have, basically, this book is a book of character development. The first character personality that we're working on is called Zehirut. Zehirut is called how to pay attention, how to be aware, how to use your gift of that makes us different from the animals, or right? What makes us different from animals is freedom of choice. Right? Angels don't have freedom of choice to just do the word of God. Animals don't have freedom of choice to just do, they're doing their job of being animals, and they don't have freedom of choice. But as human beings, we have freedom of choice. That means we have to pay attention. It means we have to think before we act. So the opposite of Zehirut is being drunk, let's say, because your mind is not present. Your ability to make choices are not there. I think they say that only 1% out of all the people that try to stop smoking go back to smoking. Only 1%. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10.
Wait, those people who quit
10%.
go back?
10% of people that quit go back to smoking. Only 10%. Sorry, 90% go back to smoking.
Yeah.
10%.
Stay.
10%.
They quit like
10%. They quit forever. But those 90%, when do they usually go back to smoking? When they're drunk. Because what happens is you don't have your ability to, your guard that you have in your mind, you don't have, your guard is not there. You're off guard. So another thing that we said is the opposite of zehirut, of paying attention, of freedom of choice, is what we call habit. Habit is a very dangerous. It's sort of like habits are. We're not talking about bad habits, even good habits. Habits is the ability we have to become machines. In other words, we act out of habit. I'm doing this because I did it yesterday. In other words, I'm putting on tefillin, so the act is taking place, but I'm not thinking what I'm doing. I'm not aware. I'm not making a choice to do it. I'm just doing it with I'm not present. I'm not making a choice to do this. It's like my life is on cruise control, and I'm doing not just bad things, good things. If you're doing good things out of habit, you're not there. So the idea is, how do we develop this character? How do we work on this character, becoming cautious, paying attention, becoming aware, becoming conscious, becoming freedom of choice, becoming humans? How do we do that? So the Ramchal, this book has 9 character traits that we work on. And each character trait has 4 parts. Each character trait has... What was your name again? Sorry. David what? Zamar. So, in order to... And this is the layout for the whole book. And it's the way it works. There's Klal, Prat, Kniya, and Hefsed. In other words, the Ramchal says, and each one of these chapters, so if you want Zehirut, if you want to really make it yours, you have to first review, there's 4 steps you have to take in order to make it yours. Step number 1 is to understand the overview. This is a very important lesson for life also. Don't jump into the details before you know the big picture. You're learning Gemara, learn the concepts, learn the overview, learn the layout, learn the the big picture. Then go, and then you need to understand the prat. It's not enough to just know the big picture, right? I read a few things and I understand the overview. I know everything. No. Now you got to learn the details. What are the details? What do I have to do? Then you have to, just because you know what to do doesn't mean you're going to do it, because you need motivation. And then once you're ready, you understand the overview, the detail, and you know what to do, and you're motivated. Now you have to do what's called hefsed. You have to do what's called maintenance and upkeep. Just because you got it doesn't mean it's yours forever. If you don't take the steps, you'll lose it. So that's the layout for for each chapter, for each character. Where are we now? We are in the second part of this, which is the practical. What do you have to do? Right? We spoke already about the overview. Now we want to understand, okay, so what do I do? Okay, I understand it's a terrible thing to let the habits run your life. It's a terrible thing to act without thinking, and right, the reasons for it are, like we said, the Yitzhahara is trying to keep you busy, and there's many, many reasons. But now I'm ready I want to change. How do I stay human? How do I keep my conscience, my emotions, my individuality? How do I make it grow? How do I keep my eyes open and be aware? So the Ramchal says like this: Number one is you have to want it. The ratzon, your will, your willpower. This is something I want. I want to be in control of my life. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. You have to want it. You have to want to be the word. What is the word lefakeach? Means to oversee, overlook. If you want to overlook yourself, then what do you have to do? You need two understandings. There's two things that you have to understand. Number one is Ma hatov amiti sheivchar bo ha'adam. What is the true good that a person should run after? That should be what's the good things in life? What's the purpose of living? Right? What is true good? These are all the things we discussed in the first chapter. We talked about, the reason for existing, right? What is true good? And what is true bad that we should go away from, right? These are things that we spoke about. Challenges in life and the difficulties, and so that we spoke about that. So the two things you have to know. One is what is true good that I should choose, and what is the true bad that I should stay away from. Two, and this is the main part that we will expand on. Where do my actions fit within, once I've decided what is good, and once I have made it clear what is good and what is bad, now where do I fit in? Where do my actions fit into this goal? Am I in line with what I believe, or am I not? Right? Because like we said, you could know very clearly what's right and what's wrong, but doesn't mean you'll go after it. It doesn't mean you'll make the choices. So, like we said, it's a human being is a very complex creation. V'zeh bishat maseh, are my actions good or are my actions bad? Right? Our life is in movement, constant movement, and we have two abilities, right? Bishat maseh, v'shlot b'maseh. I have to check and see my actions while I'm doing it. In other words, I have to be aware. I'm doing this right now. Most of us are doing actions without being aware, but number one is during the act. Is this something I want to be doing? And number two, shelo bishat maseh. When it is not, in other words, it's already done. I was in the action, right? I was running around. I had an event. Things took place. Things happened. It's okay. You're not always able to be aware of what's going on during the moment. It's not the end. Just because something happened it's not, we believe in tshuva, we believe in back to the future. You go back to fix the future. In other words, just because it happened, it's not over. Again, he'll talk about that later on. But we don't believe, in other words, God is past, future, present. You can fix the past. You can go back to the past, time travel, spiritual time travel, emotional, personality time travel. You can go back, and we'll explain that later on. But it's not the end of the story. So you need to review after. What's called in the army, there's something called, every time you go out to a mission, there's something called Tadrich Yetziah Lakrav. You get a discussion. We're going out. This could happen. This could happen, and then you have what's called Lekach Achar Krav, the takeaways from the battle. Right? Okay. We planned. How did it work in action? Because it's like we said, it doesn't always go the way you planned it to, even though you prepared for it and you had everything organized. And like we said, it's okay to do a mistake, but it's not okay to not learn from the mistake. Because we're humans, we make mistakes, we have to learn from it and try better next time. Okay? So we said during the act and after the act. So now let's talk about what does it mean during the act. During the act, it means don't do anything without weighing it. Where does this fit? I have my compass. Like I heard this story once from this pilot who did tshuva, and he said that he was that when they asked him why'd you do tshuva, he said because when you're flying, they teach you that there's a ball, a black ball, and it's black and white. In other words, black on the top, white on the bottom. And when you spin around many times, you have to trust the ball that it always stays black up is the sky, white is the earth, and you have to, because what happens when you spin many times, you may go into vertigo, which is, it's in your ear, there's that balance between, and then you don't know if you're up or down, and it's night, and you look and you see stars and you see lights, so you don't know what's what. But now, if you trust your intellect and you're a very smart person, and you say, I flipped 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm upside down. And if you push the stick, instead of going up, you go down, you have seconds, you're gone. That's how most the pilots, they die in training, because they trust themselves. And they have to trust the ball. And they train you, no matter what, the ball is right. And he said when he was flying, this happened to him, and he said, I know that I'm now up, but this is telling me otherwise. And he said, okay, I'll trust the ball, and he was saved. And when he came down, he said, it can't be that in this world where our minds and our ability to, I was so sure that I was right, but I was wrong, and if I would have trusted myself, I would have been gone. There has to be, what is the ball that God gave us, the Torah? Right? Mankind before the Torah made many, many mess ups. We still had, some spiritual leaders, but it's not like when the Torah was given and we have our guidance and we have that ball. Torah tells us this is good, this is bad. Right? Being with your wife is good. Being with someone that's not your wife is bad. It's very, very clear what's good and bad, and you have to evaluate. So you have to evaluate what's called, the halacha tells us what's good and what's bad, and based on that, you have to, during the Baruch Haba, good to see you. Based on that, you have to ask yourself, okay, this is what I want to do. That's before the act, right? When the act is done, and here he's going to expand on this. The act is done. You went out. You had a full day out in the world, and now you came home. And you knew, okay, this is good, this is bad, that's fine. Now you come home. You have to sit down and review everything. Watch the movie, and you are the star of the show. And, okay, the day happened. What did I do good? Ma'yesh. You have to weigh it. What did I do bad today? So I shouldn't do it again tomorrow. And what did I do good that I'll do it, that I'll continue again to do that? ואם ימצא מנהרה, אז יתבונן ויחקור בשכלו איזה תחבולה יעשה אסור מנהרה ההוא ולהיטהר ממנו. You know, the Rambam says there's like 4 parts of tshuva. What are the parts of tshuva? Admitting it, vidui, charata, feeling bad, saying it in words, vidui, you have to say it in words. You don't say it to somebody, you say it in words, because you bring it into the reality. Yes, I did this wrong. Say it in words. Feel bad. Charata, azivat achet. Stop doing it. I feel so bad I'm doing it. I'm still doing it. Right? I feel so bad. No. Stop doing it. And kabbalah latid. What's the game plan? What are you going to do? What are you going to do that it doesn't happen again? Right? I went into my phone and I went into pornography. Okay, great. I feel bad. I'm stopping. What are you going to do that you're not going to go back into? Are you going to put a block on your phone? Are you going to maybe get a dumb phone? What are you going to do? Because it's going to happen again if you don't make a game plan, like he said here. Tachbula, you need tricks. We're talking about very big challenges. So you need to, lachko, you have to, lachko means to, in other words, what we're saying here, same way there's Gemara be'iyun, right? There's Gemara where you actually, you really try to understand the depth of it. And you don't just, go over and like read through it. You need to understand. So we're talking about, the Ramchal is saying here, a huge chiddush. And again, these are very, very big revolutionary concepts. You need to learn yourself be'iyun. You need to learn yourself be'yachko besichlo. Okay, why did I do this? What brought me to do it? Where was I? How did it happen? Why did it happen? What am I going to do that it's not going to happen again? It's not enough to just feel bad. It's not enough to just say, You need to actually yachko besichlo, to use your intellect, use your mind, and find what is the trick I'm going to use. Okay, this morning I woke up 11 o'clock. Great. What trick am I going to do to wake up tomorrow? Okay, I think I'm going to go to sleep at 10 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. That might be a good idea if I want to wake up at 7. I have another trick. I'm going to put an alarm. The alarm is going to be far away that I have to get up and turn it off so it's not, or I just lean over and go, snooze or turn off. So these are different tricks. What am I going to do? What's the trick? Right? So the Ramchal is saying, where do we learn this? How do I know? You're telling me that I have to waste time every day on reviewing my day, be'iyun, taking time, okay, even if it takes a few minutes, but why should I do this and not maybe learn some more Torah, right? Before I go to sleep, take the time to review your day. What did I do good? What did I do bad? How am I going to make the good better? How am I going to make the bad not repeat itself, right? Where did you learn this from? You can't come and just tell me this chiddush, right? Where's the source? It's not enough to say a source. You have to prove it from the sources. Source number 1. Davar ze hodeunu chachamein zuchlan vracha. We learned this from the Gemara Eruvin. Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel had a 2.5-year philosophical debate. Heavy discussion. Noch la'adam shenivra shelo noch shenivra. Is it better off that we were created, or are we better off if we would not be created? Right? Very big discussion. Are smartphones good or bad? Right? Is it better that we would have it or wouldn't have it? On one hand, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of this. There's 2 billion pornography sites. There's all these waste of time, everything. Okay, but on the other hand, you have Waze and you have all this amazing technology. Better off we created or not? Very serious discussions. The bottom line was you would be better off not being created. Life is a challenge. Life is a difficulty. We spoke about it in the first challenge. Okay, you have the ability to uplift the world, but okay, but now we're created. The discussion was, would it be easier to not be created? Yes, it would be much easier. Is it difficult, this world? Yes, it's difficult. What do I do now? Is that's it? We're stuck here and it's just miserable? No, 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 no. If you do these two things, and even these two things, they have discussions. It's a disagreement. They say, now that you're created, yepashpesh maasav, ve'ika de'amre yemashmesh b'maasav. So, Elyon Shama, they said, okay, you have to do pish push and mishmush. So, it's a debate.
What's the peshpesh?
It's exactly what we're going to figure out.
Oh.
Now that you're created, if you do these two things, not only is it, oh, too bad you were created, but actually the greatest gift you created, you'll uplift the world, you'll uplift yourself, you'll have closeness to God, you'll have everything if you do these two things. What is pish push? Pish push is if you have a clothing, right? And there's pish pushim means like bugs or little things that you don't want on your clothes. Pish push means take out, like look at the clothes, say, oh, I don't want this like bug on me. All right, go through it, review it, the details. Pish push. The other rabbi says, no. What do you mean? Mishmush. Mishmush is feel the overview, see the big picture. Not just what I do good or I do bad, but not just what I do good or bad, but where am I in the big picture? What are my goals? What are my plans? Am I going in the right direction? So they're arguing. No, all you need to do is just focus on the details of how did you do today? Good, bad, or where are you in the big picture? Are you going in the right direction? The big picture or the details? It's like two people looking at right? You have this. One person's looking from here. He says it's a 9. The other person looking from here says, no, it's a 6. There are absolute truths. God is one. There's no two gods, right? But there are things that you just have different ways of looking at it. I see the world from 6. You see the world from 9. I see the world that pish push. Just focus on the details and everything else will work itself out. No. Focus on the big picture and the details will work itself out. So what are we going to do with this problem? We'll take both. Chal says, what do we do with this big machloket? Tireh shtei aleshonot ha'ele. Right? Like we said, if you're looking for comfort in this world, like in the Western world, they say you're in this world for pleasure, for comfort. You're wrong. You'll be miserable. And the largest growing disease in North America is depression. Because the goal is to have comfort. This world is not comfortable. But if you're looking to pish push and mishmush, to do work, to be in a state of action, to be in movement, if you're looking, it's the opposite of, it says Yaakov, after everything he went through, he had so many challenges his whole life before he even came into the world. He's fighting with his brother in the womb. He didn't even come out. He's already in a struggle with his brother. And then he had Lavan, and then he had his kids raped, and Dinah and Lavan and Esav, and going on and on and on and on. Finally, Vayeshev Yaakov. Right? Finally, Vayeshev Yaakov. I went through everything. Let me retire now and just relax. Done. What does it say? Kafatz alav rogzo shel Yosef. Right away, Yosef gets sold, and now the challenges are just beginning. The difficulties are just starting. Right? Yaakov teaches us how to deal with the difficulties, but it's not the reality of this world. If you're in the mindset of I want to relax, I want to take it easy, I want comfort. Not that you have to not have comfort and do everything you can to have comfort. But don't make that the goal. We spoke of that in the beginning. Having pleasure, having comfort is not a goal. It's the means for the goal. The goal is to serve God, to do your mission in this world, to fulfill your calling, right? But that's the number one thing. So pish push. So he said these are two wonderful things. One is pish push, like we said, pish push maasim lachkor, to see your actions and see, are they good? Are they not good? Are they going according to what God wants? Are they not? And what's not good, get rid of it. But mishmush is so basically what the Ramchal is saying here is an important thing. Pishpush is the details. Bishmush, he says, is the taking the good and making it better. Every day, at the end of the day, look, review your day. It takes 2 minutes, because the main purpose of us living is to be out there doing things in the world. We're not here to just sit all day reviewing. But you need to review. And we spoke about in the first chapter in the overview. The number one technique of the Yetzer Hara is to not give you those 2 minutes to review. Because if you become a person that reviews, you will not repeat the negative things you've done. And that's the biggest danger for the Yetzer Hara. And therefore, he will make everything. You have calls and you have WhatsApps and you have emails and you have nonstop. You'll be bombarded with not 1 second to think. Because think of, how many people are able, it's scary for people to actually do nothing. Just think. You're in the car, don't put on music. You're walking somewhere, just think. Stop. Right? People don't think. You're thinking. In other words, your mind is occupied with so many things: work, business, whatever it is, things that are in your head, and you need to have that space in your mind to actually make the good better. How do I get rid of the bad? Right? It's like we said, like it's checking a clothing. If it's good, if it's not only is there bugs on it, is it strong? Is my good? Are my intentions in the right place? This is a very big chiddush, right? And am I going in the right direction? Not only the details, also am I going in the right direction? And to see the quality of what am I doing? Am I aware of my thoughts? Am I doing it for the right intentions? What direction am I going? Not just the close little detail, but am I, am I doing things out of egocentrism? Am I doing it? So this is it. This is very important to know. And therefore, klalo shel davar. What is the bottom line? Ramchal likes to make it very simple. Klalo shel davar. You have to see all your actions. Don't let those bad habits become part of you. How do you do that? How long does it take for something to become a bad habit?
2, 3 times.
What do you think?
1 time.
1 time?
1 time, because 1 time is what leads to the second time as well.
So the question is, how long does it take for something to become a habit? I see a need that you should be weighing, really contemplating every dvar yom beyomo. Ramchal said, the Gaon of Vilna said, there's no extra words in this book. Or till the 13th chapter, there wasn't one extra word. If the Ramchal says that you have to do it every day, it means it takes 24 hours for something to become a habit. Do something today without thinking, you'll do it tomorrow again. That's all it takes, 1 day for something to become a habit. It's not 1 time, it's 1 day. Because you could do it 1 time, but then you reviewed it and you caught it, you won't do it tomorrow. So, and again, he could have said maybe a week, maybe a month. How long it takes something, right? No. Dvar yom b'yomo. Kasocharim, and now he gives us an understanding. Let me give you an example from the real world that you can relate to. כסוחרים הגדולים אשר יפלסו תמיד כל עסקיהם למען לא יתקלקלו ויקיימו עיתים ושעות לזה שלא יהיה משקלו הרע אלא בקיבול כי רב בתולדהו. What makes the difference between why is one guy open a small store, 2 guys open a small store, one guy becomes a franchise of supermarkets? Rami Levy started off with a little store in the Shuk. How did he become, supermarkets all over the country? And the other guy, they started at the same time. He has the same store. Why? What's the difference between the two? Why does one succeed and one not? and we don't care about. Not everyone has to become a. We're talking about
Sham.
not everyone has to become a a billionaire or that's not. We don't believe in that. Not everyone has that calling in life. Not everyone, and it's not. It's a big challenge. There's a side note. There's a bracha you make when you at someone's table. You say v'yehu nechatzav mutzlachim meod unechasenu mutzlachim. There's a special called birkat oreach, the blessing of a guest. You're at someone's house. You bless him. He should be very successful, and we should be successful. Why don't you say that you should be very successful and I should be very successful? Why should he be very successful and I should only be successful? The Gemara. This comes from the Gemara. The answer is, if I'm eating at your table, you know how to give. If I'm eating at your table, you know how to give. So I can bless you to be very successful. For me, I don't know how I'll be if I'm very successful. So I'm blessing myself to be successful, because that challenge of having very successful is not a simple challenge. So, right? Anyway, what makes that small store become the franchise, the big, what's it called? Reshet, franchise it's called?
Yeah, franchise.
What makes that small supermarket become a national-wide supermarket? The other one stays this little store. What makes the difference between the two of them? The answer is the one that has the small store closes his store a few hours early. So if you're looking from the side, you say, what are you doing? What are you doing? You closed your store, you're losing money. Right? I'm going to be open for 8 hours, and you're only open 6 hours. I'm going to make this amount of money, and you're going to make less. No. You know what I'm doing when I close my store early? I'm reviewing what sells, what doesn't sell. I'm learning the market. What sells in other countries? What's trending? What's the right thing to sell? What's the next thing coming? What's the right? It's like I asked once a big businessman, teach me the secret of business. And he said, this is the secret of business. Every business is going up. And they're so happy it's going up. But the difference between why one goes here and one starts going down is because he is thinking, how am I going to go higher? And he is just happy with his success. He closes his store early and learns and reviews. The same thing. You could say to somebody, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing reviewing your day? I mean, this is what Ramchal is saying. Stop learning Torah and learn yourself. Learn your personality. Learn your weaknesses, your strengths. Know who you are. Know, right? Someone came to Rabbi and said, Rabbi, I have all these difficulties, sufferings happening to me. What do I need to fix? What do I have to do tshuva on? Do tshuva on the fact that you don't know what to do tshuva for. Every person should know what his weaknesses are, what his strengths are. Where, right? Like someone, I just heard a class today, like they asked my rabbi about, reincarnations. What is reincarnations? In the Pshat, doesn't talk about reincarnations at all. You won't find it in the Gemara Halacha, only in the Zohar and in the Kabbalistic writings. But on a simple level, what is reincarnations? It's God gives you a chance to refix whatever you've did in the last incarnation. But how do I know what it is? Whatever your challenge is, that's very simple. This is my biggest challenge in life. That's the reason why you came back to this world, to fix. You're there because that's the reason you're in this world. You have that challenge. You know what it is. Work on it. That should be your thing.
Your Rav is Rav Aviner, right?
Yes, Rav Shlomo Aviner. Right? If that is your thing, if you know it, this is my challenge, anger or this, whatever, great. Become a master. Become a master in knowing yourself and learning yourself and understanding how do I take this challenge and learn how to deal with it and become great at it and become, and overcome it. That's the purpose of creation. That's the I think it's the Gaon of Vilna said, if you don't work on your midot, why did you come to this world? Why are you here? This is the purpose that God put you in the world, and you need to know yourself. Learn yourself, like we're saying here. Learn yourself, be'iyun, learn yourself in depth. Know exactly who you are. That's a very, very important thing to know. Most people don't know who they are. Most 99.9 of people, they do the same act over and over again. Like the Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same act and expecting a different outcome. That's what most people do. They do the same act and they expect it will change. It's not going to change unless you take control of it and decide you want to change it. Our rabbis taught us, so we said, we learned this from the from the big business people. Simple, right? All these like books, how to become a billionaire. Great. Here is the secret of how to become a billionaire. They asked the billionaire, everyone loves these books on how the billionaires, tell us what's your secret. How did you become a billionaire? Oh, how to become a billionaire?
Buy my book.
I worked less.
My book.
Right. Buy my book. How did I become a billionaire? I worked less. What? Yeah, I closed my store early. And right, it's like I read this thing once. Someone said to this person, I'm so tired. What do I do about being so tired? Sleep less. Get up earlier and do things that give you energy, that learn some Torah, do things that are, right? Because that exhaustion is a lot of times is coming because a lack of fulfillment, of spiritual fulfillment, of feeling feeling depth, connection. So that's the first thing. So that was just, we learned from the Gemara, we learned from the business people, the importance of this cheshbon nefesh, what we call. That's what this whole chapter is. The Chachamim zichronam livracha horunu beferush tzorech cheshbon. But still, Rabbi, okay, you brought me the Gemara, you brought me the business people. Where is the pasuk in the Torah? Such an important thing that you're saying. Where is the pasuk that tells us that we have to do it? Right? Without a pasuk, it's not. Give me the pasuk. Where in the Torah does it say do cheshbon nefesh? It's such a serious thing. Where does it say do cheshbon nefesh? And this is my pasuk. You know, everyone has a pasuk. It says when you do shmones, right? After you finish the praying, you take 3 steps back, and you're supposed to say a pasuk that has your name in it, or the first letter and last letter of your name. Because it says when you get to Shemaim, they ask you what's your name, and you won't remember your name. But if you tell yourself the pasuk, you'll remember it. It's a deep Kabbalistic thing, but it's in Pshat Sidders. But what does it mean that you know your name? Were you connected to who you are? Were you faithful to, for example, I'm really blessed that I'm 45 years old, 6 children. And I'm blessed that the number one thing you want to find in your life is what is your netiyah? What's your calling in life? What's your passion? Many people don't know it and they can't find it and they're not sure what it is. To find your passion and your calling is the greatest gift in the world. The Rav Kook talks about it here. You have to really spend time and thinking and praying to find what is my passion. My rabbi told me what my passion is. He says, your passion is to be a teacher. And when you know your passion, then you have to see, do I have a talent to be a teacher? And then you have to see, does the marketplace have the need for you to pay you what you need to make a living? The answer is, let's say I know I have the passion. Let's say I don't have the talent. And the market definitely doesn't have a need for me because you don't make enough money to support your family as a teacher. Right? So he said to me, if you can't be a teacher, build a hospital. So I'm a fundraiser for the largest teachers college in Israel. Right? So thank God, and that gives me my passion, and but there were twice in my life where I saw the sparkling, I saw, my friend's making tons of money in high tech. Right? I said, can I work for you? Sure, no problem. Big salary, 40,000 shekels a month salary, car. And I was working there and I realized I'm miserable. I don't feel any satisfaction. I'm completely out. You could work in a job that's not your calling, it's not your netiyah, it's not your desire. A temporary job, in between jobs. But in general, in life, for you to be happy, you have to be in the place of who are you. And that was once I went out and then thank God I came back. And then another time, a friend of mine made huge money in real estate. I said, oh wait, real estate, building Israel. I'll find satisfaction in that. It's building Israel. It's not your calling. I went there for 1.5 years in Tel Aviv in the fast lane. No. It was the wrong. I was out of I felt like I was dying inside. Thank God it came back to what I had to be doing. But where is, so who you are, so where is the pasuk that tells us you have to do this cheshbon nefesh? This is my pasuk because it starts with an ayin, it ends with a nun sofit, Elyon, which is my name. Al ken v'chachamenu zorim v'chachamenu beferush torah cheshbon hazeh, and they learned it from the pasuk. Al ken yomru hamoshlim bo cheshbon. The Gemara says, what is hamoshlim? If you want to be a ruler, you want to be in control of your life. Moshel means a king, a ruler, a leader. You want to be a leader? You want to be a ruler of yourself? Al ken bo nechashev cheshbono shel olam hefsed mitzvah keneged schara uschar avera keneged hefseda. If you want to be a ruler, you have to always be weighing, like we said, what am I gaining? What am I losing? Right? Long-term loss, short-term gain. What's the difference between a child and a grown-up? Instant gratification. A child has no ability to make, they need to make long-term goals, to contemplate. They need instant gratification. There was a whole research that was done about the marshmallow, where they put the marshmallow and they told the kid, if you wait, you'll get 2. I think most of the people knocked off the marshmallow immediately, right? It's this, the reality is that people think now, but you have to become a person that sees the big picture, that reviews, that plans ahead, that reviews after, that right has, and where does this pasuk come from? It's an incredible story. It's the story of when we were on the way to Israel. We had this commandment where we were not allowed to fight Moab because Moab came from Lot, and Lot was he saved Avram when he didn't tell him that his wife was his sister. So he got this award that you can't fight with Moab. But then there was a war between Heshbon.
Who's that today?
What's that?
Who are his descendants today? Would that apply to a group we cannot fight?
Yeah, they're long gone, from what we understand. Like, yeah, all those nations, we don't know where they are, who they are. Right? So here what happened was, we were on the way to Israel, but Moab was there. But Sichon came and conquered Moab, and then that was what allowed us to continue to, now we can fight Sichon and make our way to Israel, otherwise we couldn't. In other words, what does this mean? What does this teach you? Things are happening in life. There's like all these things that are taking place, and I don't see what they mean. The only way for you to see what they mean is if you take a step back and look at the big picture and understand that there's God is moving the pieces, and He's doing everything for your good, and everything is leading to a certain place. And it's when you look at the big picture, you see things in a new proportion, new perspective. By taking that break, by creating an island in this raging sea of madness, right? Then that is what creates this wonderful thing to happen, change. That we said 99.9% don't change because they don't give themselves this place. And the Ramchal is saying, he'll say later on, it has to be a time and a place. You can do it thinking about it, you can do it writing it, you can do it, but it's something that has to be, you have to create this protective area, this, how do you say, this bomb shelter, like a bomb shelter. You have to have this place where you stop everything, you stop the noise and the distractions, and you review yourself, you learn yourself, and this is on the level of Torah learning. That's the Ramchal saying. This is a very big chiddush. This is on the level of Torah learning. This is a chiddush that he's saying, right? Because you're bittul Torah, you're not allowed not learn Torah. You have to learn every free moment. No, this is not. You could be learning all the time and completely miss the boat, because it's not only about learning. It's about your character. It's about who you are. Are you living what you're learning? Or is it just all in your head? This secret, this device is so big, it could only be given by someone who was able to make it to the other side. Someone who was able to conquer his... In other words, like my rabbi said, somebody came up with this statement in the name of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, think good, it will be good. That is the most revolutionary, that is the biggest secret in the world. The only problem is it's not true. You could think good until you're blue in the face and it won't happen. Okay, I'm going to think now that I'm a billionaire. I'm thinking it, and it will be. That chiddush is so huge, someone would have said it before, 50 years ago. But it's not true. If you want to come up with an idea and tell me that this is the newest revolution, then show me the sources. Here, I showed you. Doing cheshbon nefesh, I have it from the Gemara, I have it from the real life, I have a pasuk from the Torah, right? I have all of the backings to tell you that this is true, right? And this is the biggest gift and the biggest secret that anyone could give us. He's like going wild about this idea. I can't even begin to tell you the benefits that will come to you from your life, from creating this island of sanity, this place of introspection, of going inward and reviewing yourself. Watch your movie and you are the star of the show, and see how you can become good and see how the negative you can make better. And only somebody that was able to overcome his Yetzer and control it and rule it, only he could tell us. Because anyone else that's locked into Chavush Masar Yitzro, like we said, this book is written, the whole book is based on Rav Pinchas ben Yair, the Tana, who his main occupation was Pidyon Shvuim, releasing people from bondage, getting people out of slavery, out of prison, which is the worst type of suffering. What's the number one suffering that a person could be in? The prison of a person's selfishness. There's nobody, en od milvadi. We're all in prison. We care about ourselves. That's okay. But there's certain things it says, be very careful. Gaiva is one of them. Pride. There's only me and nobody else. Me'od yeshfal ruach. There's a danger of us getting locked into, there's nobody else but me. En od milvadi. There's nobody else but me. We care about ourselves, and that's okay. But once it goes overboard, and there's nobody else but me, and there's nothing else but me, and it used to be, people used to feel bad if they were selfish. In this generation, you're told the more selfish you are, the better. That's why people are not getting married, and people are not, it's a very big problem. Because to get married, you have to be able to want to give to another person. I asked someone who was like 50 years old, why do you think you're not married? I was looking for, what are you looking for in a woman? That she could help me become my maximum and to do this for me and do this for me and for me and for me and for me. You're ready to get married when you say, I'm looking for somebody that I can give to. Ahava means have, it means have, it means to give. I want to give to you.
Like Levi?
Exactly. Like Ahava, I want to give you. So love, relationship is about giving. It's not about taking. You also get, yes, but it's not the goal. You're ready to get married. A baby only thinks of himself. And as you grow, you're supposed to be able to slowly see there's somebody else out of you, right? Like a little kid says, I want a candy. He's crying. He has two. I didn't get one. Okay, here. And then the next day he has two and he's crying. No way. What yesterday? No way. But you only see yourself? He's a child. It's okay. But as you grow, you're supposed to be able to suddenly discover there's other human beings out besides me. And this is, like we said, this is a real truth that nobody can see besides besides people that have made through, and because this world is a dark world. Teshet choshech veilayla, and this is what he says, that all the materialistic reality we live in is what he says. Ken chomriyut gashmiyut olam hazeh. I love this statement, it's so powerful. The physical, materialistic aspect of this world. Hinehu choshech halayla le'ein hasechel. It's darkness of the night to the eye of the intellect. We all have a third eye. What is that third eye? The ability to think about things, to review things, to look at things in a way of intelligent way, an intellectual way, in a way of thought, in a way of understanding, a way of learning. But the materialistic of this aspect of this world is darkness of the night to the eye of the intellect. So, for example, let's say you have a room here, right, and you have these cameras, and the cameras are all watching this room, so no thieves could come in. Materialistic things of this world, they basically block these cameras, and then a person just is running around doing things without thinking. And you want those eyes, the intellect, the eye of the intellect to be open, to be aware. The thought, the way you think as a mature person, as a grown-up, as a caring person, those eyes should be, right, like we said, you see a woman and she's dressed a certain way, the materialistic part makes you start looking at her as a piece of meat. But this is a soul walking. This is a God's creation. Is that how you want to look? Like the rabbi was saying, like you have like like in this the fox trying to catch the rabbit. At one point he sees the rabbit far and he imagines the rabbit on a platter with chips and smoke, steam coming out, right? That's how you look at a soul. That's a human being. That's the eyes are blocked. A person should, like, I remember my rabbi was such a holy man, Rabbi Tzurkama, that I studied Messilat Yesharim from him. People said, well, what am I, when I see a woman like that, what am I supposed to think? There's only one thing you should think. If it's cold out, I wonder, maybe she's cold? Like, what bothers you? Are you worried that maybe she's too cold, or, like, because it's a cold day and she's not, like, dressed fully, or, like, you should only be concerned about her. You should only be, like, care about the person. And actually, they did an interesting survey. They asked women in secular places. They went to women that were the most dressed, like, provocatively, and they asked the men, when you see a woman like that, what do you think she's saying? She's like, what do you mean? She wants me to take advantage of her. Why? They asked her. I just want to be seen. I want to feel comfortable. It's a completely different reality. And we have to have our eyes open, our intellect eyes. When we look at the soul of the person, we care about other people, or we think as mature human beings. So that's it. Shabbat Shalom. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks. If the rabbi wants to do it by Zoom, we can discuss it. Otherwise,